Mannarino takes on and tries to commit the biggest upset of the tournament so far in the men's singles draw. To this point, it has been the 4-seed Kei Nishikori falling to Benoit Paire on opening day. But really, it doesn't seem like it's very close a match on paper. The mismatch ahead of us. We'll see if Murray can continue his impressive run in the second round. He won the toss. He elected to serve first. Murray, from the top of your screen, gets us started in New York.
Well, the weakest shots you're going to get when you play Andy Murray is his second serve. That's going to be the shortest shot in the box with the least action on it. Mannarino did a good job jumping on it right away, although he's claiming that winner was created by a defective ball. That's the only reason.
And you have 2, 3, 4, 5. You need one more.
Already some grumblings from the Brit, who has, as we said, had such a terrific season this year, picking up 4 more titles to his credit on 3 different surfaces. Suddenly he showed his prowess on clay this year, picking up his first 2, first in Munich, then beating Nadal in the final in Madrid. Had an early stumble in the North American hardcourt warm-up series coming into the U.S. Open. It was against Gabishvili in Washington, D.C. in the opening round. There's wife Kim. Will be, well, she's doing a couple months, isn't she?
I think so.
Yeah. And he'll be a father, already enjoying what matrimony has brought to his career. Jonas Bjorkman in the coaching box. Very poised start for Mannarino. For Murray, the big success that really got things going, though, for this summer and to elevate his hopes for a solid run here in New York was the victory in Montreal. Finally able to get across the finish line against Novak Djokovic to pick up the title. Something that had proved very difficult this season.
Well, look, it was a 3-hour match in heat. 2 out of 3 sets. You watched that match and you thought, how are they ever going to play 5 sets? Both of them were limping to the finish line as Murray right out of the gate in a little trouble on his own serve. 75-mile-an-hour second serve. One thing he's been doing pretty well is he's been serving better this summer than I've seen him serve in the past. Better percentages and also 18 aces in his first round.
And the first pressure against his serve, Murray's able to answer. Offers one up at 126 miles per hour. That'll get the juices flowing. 202 kph to erase 1 break point.
He can serve in the 130s as well when he wants to. And
Mannarino just giving Murray just pushback shots, nothing real offensive.
He's one of those players that when you lose to him in the juniors, you say, I lost him, but he's just a pusher. And you can, as if that's derogatory in some way. He beat you still, but he's not, as you saw, he didn't hit the ball. He's just massaging it. Not a lot of spin, not a lot of pace. Today's players are so accustomed to pace that they don't know what to do with that ball.
The first 4 minutes of the opening set almost seemed like an extension of the warm-up for Mannarino as he just puts the ball back in play, and it's Murray who's pressing a bit and finds himself broken. Mentioned the runner-up status in Bogota. That is a hard court event, mind you, as things got started before he came here to the U.S. Open. The Frenchman was able to get to the last day before losing to Aussie Bernard Tomic, and then just started to slide. Got a bye in the opening round Atlanta, promptly lost to Japan's Go Soeda. Then back-to-back losses in Montreal and Cincinnati in the opening round. And what happened to all that momentum? Oh, and he dials it up. He was probably frustrated, as you can imagine, in dropping serve to start, so now he's going to up the ante.
He dropped serve early against Kyrgios as well. His second service game in the first set, managed to turn that set around. He's one of the best returners in the game, and Mannarino's not one of the best servers in the game, so you expect him to be able to get this break back at some point.
Despite the characterization as being not one of the best servers in the game, he had a terrific performance in his opening round win, winning 80% of his first serve points in that straight sets victory on Tuesday. If he can manage to find a way to that kind of success today, it bodes well. Better look here, Jimmy, too, from what Andy Murray had called, we quote, unorthodox style of the forehand of Mannarino at the top of the screen. Just sort of almost a little close to the body sort of whip.
He has a, as I said, very small, short little backswings, which is one of the reasons he can't really produce too much of his own power. But he's a lefty, so he's got that little slider serve. He's got feel. He's got imagination. I don't know why that goes hand in hand with lefties, but it really does seem to over the years.
Sure. Mannarino tests Murray's foot speed very early and effective with the drop shot. Andy not able to get there as Mannarino tries to consolidate for 2-love. Mannarino looking to return the favor and offer up his serve to Murray for 1-all. Push just sailing long, committing his third unforced error already. That does not bode well for the Frenchman. He can't control his ground strokes even with his pushing style. He's going to be in trouble very quickly. Look at that. Well, all right, 123. First ace for Adrian.
That was set up the point before in the ad court when he threw that really slow, wide slider. Tossed it again out far to his left, and it made Murray think he's going slider. That's where he is tricky. Uses his leftiness well. When he has an opportunity, you just saw him sneak into the net behind a good serve.
Where's the pace come from on those last two serves?
I don't know. I can't give you the answer to that.
And a good effort to get himself out of a jam. And indeed, it is Mannarino who takes the upper hand, a break, and a hold for 2-love.
It's an 89-mile-an-hour first serve, just to give you an idea. He gives you a lot of different looks. Murray's a guy that normally you'd think would be able to handle that. I think there's a chance Murray has a little bit of a letdown because the Kyrgios match was so built up. You've seen the draw for 3 or 4 days. Everyone was talking about that match. Now he has Mannarino.
Yeah, you would think that, especially a night match too against Kyrgios. So Kyrgios opting for showmanship more than being effective in that match, and Murray not really caused too many problems, though he did drop a set in this match. A little different start in the middle of the day against a guy he's supposed to handle very easily. That skips through the court once again, and Mannarino is starting to find his rhythm. He's now put together 5 winners to just 2 from Murray. Yeah, motivation-wise, was that ever a problem, stepping on the court against somebody you're the prohibitive favorite against?
It's not motivation as much as if you don't believe they're a threat, then you're in a little trouble sometimes. You have to go into the match thinking, I could lose this match. I've seen him play. He's rough. And then after 2 games, you say, well, what was I so worried about? But you have to start the match with that attitude. And Murray's come out to me a little bit on the flat side.
Quality pop on the serve. It won't go down as an ace, but 127 miles per hour, his fastest offering in the opening 10 minutes. Mannarino goes for broke.
Doing that very well. He's attacking Murray's second serve, which, as I said, it's the slowest, shortest ball you're going to see in any rally. Mannarino's done a pretty good job, surprisingly for me on that. I didn't think he had the power he's showing.
Mr. Mannarino sounds across the right baseline. The ball was not.
Carlos Bernardes let us know that the first challenge coming. We'll see the chase review, but both players already heading towards the chairs. The call was out, and we will see the ultimate conclusion. If it does indeed remain out, that means Murray's on the board, and he is. Champion here 3 years ago, finally on the scoreboard, but down a break early in New York.
Mannarino leads by 2 games to 1 first set. Mr. Mannarino has 2 challenges.
Mannarino, as we said, most match wins for a season have already been pulled together, mind you, for the Frenchman. 24. Has never had that many in an entire season, let alone to this juncture. 2 finals, the first of his career. It all seems to be stemming from a little bit of a change that was necessary in the last year. Started to experience discomfort and then outright pain in his left wrist. So he had to go back and think about changing his grip. That has made all the difference. And that is not an easy thing to do, Jimmy.
That should be the end of his career. To tell you that you're not the other way around. You can't make a change like that on the fly. Changing your grip changes your contact point.
He would have been 26 years of age last year, right in the middle of the season, born in June. And at that juncture in your career, to make a change that dramatic?
I mean, I must have had no choice, but it's obviously worked. He must have gone from a more, what I call a weaker grip, an Eastern grip, to a little stronger, a little Western, like more of today's players.
Can't get much closer than that. Yeah, for Adrian Mannarino, he's just sort of journeying around, trying to find a way to build up some sort of positive momentum and self-belief. The subtle changes, as well as the dramatic change of his grip, has really given him a second life. The numbers in 2015 speak for themselves. 2 finals. I've never accomplished that before. But as this match wears on for Mannarino, he's going to have to find some other gear to get to, because we can already tell that Murray's starting to make a more concerted effort.
Well, you would think that's the case, but Murray's missed enough balls so far. He's given just enough to Mannarino that Mannarino can hope to stay with what he's been doing. He's had a nice mix on the serve. Slow little slidey first serves and then some
Adrian Mannarino serving 2-1, broke to start the match, and now up against a break point himself. And he has given it right back to Murray. That was a very poor performance from the Frenchman for 2-all.
We've been talking about how he's got to a career high with the changing of his forehand grip, and it's worked so well for him this year. Well, it just did not work for him at all in that last game. 3 straight forehands, dumped forehands to lose serve and give the break right back to Murray.
Yeah, now 7 unforced errors, and Murray starting to feel in control of things, or you would sense that he would be, because he really wasn't sharp to begin with, and now that he starts to bring all of his skill set forward, become a little bit more aggressive while being the tremendous retriever he is. Mannarino suddenly not as positive a stance.
Murray came out a little on the flat side. Footwork wasn't there. Energy level wasn't what it needs to be.
Well, he's got some quick racket head speed when he wants to, but he tends to go back and forth between lulling and being aggressive.
Which, you know what, that he doesn't have top line power, so why not give a little different look? He doesn't hit the same ball more than 1 or 2 times in a row. One thing he has done consistently is attack Murray's second serve.
Again, just a nice little idea, nice little change of pace. Murray, of course, doesn't mind playing the retriever, but if you can get him back pushed behind the baseline, as Mannarino accomplished, opening up some real estate for the put away, and he's still not with his big push forward to try to gain the lead as of yet. But now he's got himself in prime position. Matches his fastest serve for the day for his 3rd ace.
What's strange to me so far is that Mannarino's out hitting Murray in the winner department. Murray has 3 aces, so only 2 winners from the back of the court.
But he does have the lead, and it's the first time he's done so. Mannarino not too pleased that he's surrendered his 2-0 start. 3 seed puts himself in front in the opening set. Beautiful view from overhead across the beams that are going to hold up the roof beginning next year here at Arthur Ashe Stadium. There's already 1,700 beams and girders stretching across the top. Good spot for a camera position looking down on the floor. Where Adrian Mannarino got off to a 2-love start and was looking up at the scoreboard and said, wait a minute, was that just 3 in a row for Andy? What happened to my lead? It is gone. And now it's just a fight to stay in this opening set. There's not even just a subtle, but a very palpable shift in momentum. And Andy Murray hasn't really brought his A game to this point. Very hot day, very humid. It's going to have an effect on many of the matches going on this 4th day of the U.S. Open. It's intriguing because it's going to also have one obviously here on Arthur Ashe Stadium as far as temperature and relative humidity, but the change is in the fact that there's a stillness to Arthur Ashe Stadium now, and listening to the players talk about how the change has already occurred and the roof isn't even completed yet, that there's not much movement in the air.
I actually think that means we're going to have a little better tennis than we've had, because once on windy days in this stadium, when the wind would get down in there, it would swirl. Difficult to play well.
And every player is different. Some people like conditions to be relatively benign and not much. Murray, as a player, not always bothered by wind. He handles it a little better than others.
No one thinks they're going to play their best in the wind. Murray
Sure.
just deals with the conditions very well. The year he won the Open, it was almost unplayable. It was so windy that finals weekend. In fact, they sort of canceled Djokovic against Ferrer. Ferrer was up 5-love or 5-1. It was so windy, Djokovic couldn't even stand and hit the ball for some reason. He played it the next day, but even the final against Djokovic, first 2 sets, very windy. Murray won both. Djokovic had calmed down a little, and he won the next 2.
Yeah, remember the match that he had against Thomas Berdych, and the chairs were falling over, towels were flying everywhere.
Yes, it was almost unplayable.
That's a wicked return.
Yeah, that's the one thing Murray's done a little bit more often this summer than I've seen him, and maybe that's Jonas Bjorkman, because Bjorkman was a guy that also used this play, and that is attack second serve well inside the baseline. Murray's done it very well this summer.
Didn't get there in time, and frustrated for Andy because he thought he made a good play on it.
Murray's got to figure out some way to counteract that lefty serve in the ad court. Is Mannarino, look at where look where Murray is to start the point. 5-6 feet outside the doubles line. He did get there in plenty of time that time. But that's a long run for nothing.
solid play from Mannarino because Murray was testing him.
Some talent up at the net, Mannarino. This approach I didn't think would be good enough, but he was waiting on the volley and handled that low volley beautifully. You got to realize how fast Murray is. Not easy to hit a winner volley when he gets that first passing shot down low.
May see another challenge from Mannarino. And we will not. He looked like he was appealing towards Carlos Bernardes, but elects not to. And the Frenchman's starting to mutter to himself a bit, as he knows he's already gotten himself out of danger once in this game. Murray looking to make inroads for a second time. There's look overhead for what has been put in place already. More than 6,000 tons of steel hanging above Arthur Ashe Stadium. There are 2 membranes left to be put to sort of shield off the sun. Then the corners will be completed, and then the retractable awning.
Murray's winning some of these rallies, but Mannarino is actually controlling the court a little bit. It's surprising to watch. Murray is being pushed around by a player that doesn't have a ton of power, but he is willing to take the ball early. So he takes time away that way.
Well done to go behind Murray, as Mannarino saw the scramble early, and the indication from Andy left going behind him. The perfect play. And the 3-game run of Murray comes to a halt. He had his chance for 4-2, but couldn't convert, and credit to Mannarino for working his way out of it. Yeah, the impressive start to 2015, getting right to the final of the Australian Open. That's one thing. Murray obviously letting it be known after some frustrating months the year prior. And a couple of injuries and surgery on his back prevented him from playing at the level we saw from 2012 and 2013. Maybe even more significant, man's won a couple titles on clay.
Look, you asked me at the World Tour Finals the way he performed there, that he would come out, not just forget the clay for a minute.
Okay.
And be solidly 3 in the world and really fighting Federer for 2. They're sort of somewhat neck and neck.
Sure.
Federer and Murray. I would have thought, no, about a 5% chance. I thought he might be on the other side of things the way he played. He lost virtually love and love to Federer in the World Tour Finals, and just an awful match.
Latin for service.
And he was fighting the whole year, talking about how, you know, Emily Mauresmo was a good choice. She's doing a lot of good, but you wouldn't see it in his game during that particular time. And from that World Tour final till Australia, they must have put in a lot of great work. Because he really did improve in those that month or 2 months, and has played consistently well all year.
Yeah, got down to Miami in the offseason, spent a lot of time down there. Plyometrics on the beach, doing whatever it is that they were doing tactically, and then set up nicely for the run to the final before being upended by Djokovic. But that just set the tone for the year, and yeah, his nemesis got him a couple more times. Novak, who has given himself so much room as the world #1 because of his success against Murray, in particular on the last day of a couple events. But Andy's hung in, and he really has turned in a fine performance this year, and he says he's not done. He wants a shot at another title in New York. 4-3 lead. Andy Murray has put himself to the lead for the second time after he surrendered the opening 2 games to Adrian Mannarino of France, a man he beat in straight sets. And their only previous encounter on the hard courts of Indian Wells back in March of this year. Mannarino entered the U.S. Open on a 4-match losing streak. There wasn't a lot for him to feel as if, all right, I'm right where I want to be as far as momentum, even though the first of those 4 losses was in the final of Bogota. But he has proven to be a bit of a nuisance for Murray in this opening set.
Murray does not look to me like he feels perfect.
He's not, it doesn't seem 100%.
No, it's heat related. His feet aren't moving as effectively, as intensely as they normally do. And on the changeover, he wasn't just putting the ice towel around his neck. He's sort of resting his face on it as well. So a little surprised, but the heat seems to be bothering Murray a little bit.
That's good stuff. Shoveling on the backhand side, up and over the Frenchman.
15.
Worth another look.
Yeah, Murray needs to do a little more of that. He attacked the second serve first, and now he gained control. And this kind of point that takes a little bit of your opponent's legs out. That long run for the drop shot, followed up by the lob.
Talk about the conditions and the effect they have on Murray. It is kind of surprising, isn't it? The idea that he spends time in Miami where it can get very hot and humid. He's coming off his semifinal run in Cincinnati where we know it can just get bogged down. Air very heavy there as well. New York has been humid since the start.
14, 15.
But there you can see the body language showing Murray as he shuffles from one side to the other.
Right from the start
of
the match. That's the part that's a little distressing. How do you get through, a couple hours in this if first 7 games are almost looking as though they're too much for Murray?
And Mannarino does his part. A golden opportunity. 2-love lead gone, but he's staying right with Murray to 4-all. There you see the southern end and the western side that have been covered partially by the roof, which is extended shadows across the court, and it comes very early in the day. Really not much for players to contend with as far as just a creeping shadow across the court. That'll go cross court with effect.
That's almost the feel of an indoor court without the air conditioning. These guys might ask for it next year. Who knows?
Yeah, well, some have already commented that the stagnant air, there's no circulation, there's no real movement anymore.
I was talking with some of the cameramen that do such a terrific job for us all day, and I asked, how do you guys feel down there? They said, well, there's no wind to move around, so we're not getting any breeze that way. It's not quite as bad as Australia can get at its worst in the summer months down in Melbourne. But it's a definite change. They're feeling the effects, and they don't do anything. They stand there. Well, that's not fair. They do a lot, but they're standing in a solitary position. Yeah. Oh, they can hear us. I know I'm going to catch some backlash for that. They do a terrific job shaping these pictures before you.
Was that Murray I heard trying to pump himself up a little bit? I think that's what he needs. He needs to get, I don't want to say angry, but he needs to get a little adrenaline rush.
A little charge of some sort. A little spark. Another audible come on as he tries to put himself to 5-4. Kim doesn't seem particularly overwhelmed and concerned at this point, but she's keeping a good eye on Andy. Is perspiration noticeable? And yeah, I just can't help but think maybe something beyond just the weather and the conditions may be affecting him. But that's just conjecture on our part, and it could be for naught. Murray just might be starting to heat up. 6th ace, 5th game, opening set.
Well, if it's true Murray's not feeling great, you'd think he put a good amount of effort in this game to get the break, not go extra innings here in this set if he possibly can. He gets a little help from Mannarino to start.
And while at the same time maybe conserving energy, doesn't want to try to get to that drop shot, knowing that he would have to, he's going to have to hold on to something extra if Mannarino's able to come up with some fine shot making. So it is a delicate balance for the 3 seed.
He's stalking the baseline. He's going to come forward. Pretty good second serve. Didn't allow Murray to do as much with the return as he would have liked. Just a routine sort of backhand error for Murray at an important moment.
Oh, all right. So he was waiting on it. He's been fooled a couple times going out wide, so he put a little extra something on the cross-court return.
He's had a little trouble getting far enough out there. Look at how far away. He's got to almost hit a winner from there to pull it cross-court enough to get it away from Mannarino's first volley. That was the first time he was able to get over there quickly enough to pull it cross-court.
Now the guess was right and the return was deep, but Murray thought he had himself right in the mix, but he suddenly finds himself at 5-all. The internal monologue starting to spill out, and yet even that isn't the normal conversation we're used to seeing from Andy Murray. That's a bit subdued. Everything seems just to be muted just a touch.
Yeah, he doesn't have a problem yelling at his box. I got to give him that. He'll tell them all kinds of negative things. And he's looking up at the box quite a bit right now. He needs something. He's searching for something.
15 all.
Draw a parallel from North America's Major League Baseball team. Mannarino really trying to throw just a completely different game. First, you got the left-hand style. Then he can bring the fastball on occasion, but he likes to throw a lot of almost knuckleballs. There's a lot of just variety that seems to be keeping Murray from any pace that he can enjoy.
Well, his fastball, Mannarino's, isn't fast enough, so that's why he's forced to give you all these different looks, and it's been a nice mix so far. It's causing problems for Murray, and I think the heat might also be causing problems for Murray. A bit of pressure here at 15:30.
Bit of a changeup of his own for Murray, who has had his difficulties on the second serve. Yeah, just 3 out of 11. That's not a great success rate, and that's not going to get it done.
Incredible, actually.
Poker faces for the Murray camp, but you can tell there seems to be just a little discord between what Murray wants to accomplish and what he's able to, as Mannarino in great position. Who would have thunk this when they started this set 49 minutes ago? That be a point away from serving for the opening set. He's really played his game well, not worrying about what's going on the other side of the net. One for 2 today with break chances. And he's got his second, and he will indeed serve the chair. You can understand why he would bound for the chair.
Mannarino leads by 6 games to 5. First set.
Adrian Mannarino stepping to the line. 6-5 opening set against the 3-seed Andy Murray. And it was a very, very angry Andy Murray, just unleashing a tirade from his chair. And a colorful one at that.
Well, he often will direct those tirades right at his coaching box. I had the pleasure of sitting with Brad Gilbert one time when he was coaching Murray. And Murray was very young. Mannarino's sending a little bit of a message that he doesn't believe he should be winning this match. With a forehand error the first point, now playing a nice point, setting himself up with the defensive lob right inside the service line. Maybe should have let that one drop. It was so high. Would have been an easy overhead had he let it bounce. Anyway, I sat in the box with Gilbert, and Murray lost a point. Turned around to Gilbert and said, "Yeah, great strategy, you bleeping idiot." So the lost point was 100% Gilbert's fault.
Right. Well, he was directing his tirade towards his box, whether he didn't quite get the full, but there's Mom Judy also sitting there with Jonas Bjorkman. The whole exchange just further evidence that Murray hasn't been comfortable. But now to this point, here's a great chance to get back on even terms.
Well, it's the exhibition tennis for Mannarino.
Well, the last little bit we could read off the lips is it's embarrassing. Mannarino going for that shot on triple break point.
But he hit it perfect, obviously, perfectly. Look at that. Right inside the line, bouncing away. Murray better win this point because he struggled in the ad court with Mannarino's serve.
Lack of execution got him in the hole. But this time, perfect execution on the forehand. He's trying to work his way out of the trouble. Mannarino clobbering his 15th winner. And again, Murray, his productivity in the winners department has been low.
It's really 14 winners to 6 when you take out the aces, which count as aces and winners.
Yeah, it's half of Murray's total.
Yes.
So the area where Murray usually excels, which is a long rally, getting position, biting off his opponent, and starting to rack up winners. Well, that hasn't been doable today. Yeah, you can see he's Carlos Bernardes tells Andy Murray he thinks it was good. It's Mannarino, though, who is challenging the out call.
So Bernardes overruled and then realized he made a mistake. And that's his point for Mannarino.
Yep. And just like that, oh so quickly, Mannarino has himself a set point.
Will he use that slider wide or try to free point down the T ace? He's used the wide serve so well. A lot of lefties like to change it up on big points. I don't know why Murray hasn't used that backhand down the line more often. They've had a lot of little Murray backhand to Mannarino forehand rallies cross court. And it feels as though Murray's had enough balls to really have time. He's got time on those rallies to rip a backhand, and he doesn't seem to want to pull the trigger down the line. He did it well that point.
Yeah, a sense of urgency there. Just his second trip to the net. First time successful, but he picked the right time to do it facing set point. Mannarino's backhand betrays him in another error. There's been a handful for the Frenchman here. That's what got him in the original difficult spot. He'll need a big serve once again, and a first serve in particular, to get himself out of this jam.
He's almost laughing at himself at this stage.
Well, he prides himself on his forward movement, and you could tell that he was not pleased with the outcome there. Really wanting to just get to the tiebreak. It's been a difficult afternoon, and again, credit to Mannarino. as he just does what he can do, sticking to his strengths, mixing it up. As his strength shouldn't be enough to give Murray this much of a problem, and yet it's worked in this opening hour. And Adrian Mannarino takes the opening set from Andy Murray in 59 minutes. The 3 seed, a bit of a pickle early.
Andy Murray.
That just goes to show you sometimes statistics can be overrated. If you think 23 consecutive victories over Frenchmen at majors is impressive, well, Andy Murray was there. Now he finds himself down a set. Hasn't lost to a left-handed player in all of 2015. But he's down a set. Slow start and a bit troubling for Murray early. And he'll serve to begin set number 2. Adrian Mannarino cares nothing about those numbers whatsoever. But if you had to characterize the opening set, was it a matter of Mannarino playing at a high level? Was it Murray just not really bringing his full game to the forefront, or is it enough that Mannarino was doing things that disrupted Murray's flow?
A little bit of both. It was both things. Murray was not at his best. But Mannarino's doing just enough things to keep Murray a little off balance, a little uncomfortable, especially that wide serve in the ad court. He's hitting it soft, but really spinny, short and wide in the box. Murray's going to have to figure out an adjustment to that. I don't know if he's got to cut the angle off a little bit more severely, get it earlier so he's not so far out of the court.
Just found the line. Murray's bid to hold to love to begin set number 2 spoiled. And Mannarino, after flirting with the lines and finding them on back-to-back shots, misses badly on the forehand. And that's Murray to 1 love. So back inside Arthur Ashe Stadium for set number 2, and finding the confines not so enjoyable in the opening set, Andy Murray, but he does get himself to the lead with a hold, and Mannarino will have to see if he can go about things in the same manner, be able to produce a game that disrupts Andy Murray and his rhythm.
You know, something we haven't made a big enough deal about is that Murray, 1 of 7 on break points in that first set, and he had triple break point to get back to tie break in the first set. And Mannarino somehow found a way to get out of that predicament. I would have not given him much of a chance. It's one thing if it's Isner. Isner down love 40 is a different thing than Mannarino down love 40. Isner can step to the line, boom, boom, boom. You didn't really get a chance to get the break, but Mannarino really doesn't have that option. He's got to win points.
But he did do it effectively because he pulled Murray off the court a number of times, going out wide.
Let's see how Murray sort of, he's going straight across on that serve, and he pulls him further and further out.
I think he should take more of an angled approach.
Like he just did. He did that time on the second serve, and I think because in his mind, he's not worried, Murray, about the second serve going big down the tee. So he feels a little more comfortable standing well inside the baseline. He's going to have to, I think, take that serve away a little bit for Mannarino and give him the big serve down the tee a couple of times.
Mr. Murray on the call. The right near line, the ball's called in.
Murray seeks to overturn the call. It was called good. And once again, Mannarino able to get that racket through so quickly and generate some pace, and doesn't hurt that he hit it very finely on the outside of the line.
Mr. Murray has 2 tongues.
A delayed call, but as Murray tries to get around the forehand side, his return sails long.
Game Mannarino.
And Mannarino gets his hold.
1 game on. Second set.
Long points, long games, long first set, and everything. Big moments are being won by Mannarino.
Yeah. Murray just seems discombobulated, and I can't help but feel that Mannarino has done the perfect job in just creating sort of an environment of instability and uncertainty. Hasn't allowed Murray to play his best. He hasn't felt comfortable. He just seems disjointed. He's not even his usual grumpy self at this point. He would have been starting the motivation from inside to start to fire himself up, but even that has been subdued.
Go to 15.
Almost feels the only thing that's really saving Murray right now is his first serve. He's getting a lot of free points with that first serve. I mean, he's had 8 aces, but he's also had a lot of points like the one you just saw, where a big first serve produces a missed return for But he
again,
can't win
yeah.
a second serve point. I mean,
Yeah, second
Mannarino's
serve.
all over his second serve. Doing a better job in this set.
Well, he's got as many second serve points won in this opening 11 minutes, 2 service games, than he did the entirety of the first set. So it's all relative. But finally, an easy service game from Murray, and he'll be at least pleased with that. There hasn't been much to be pleased with today. The Frenchman is up a set. Adrian Mannarino, one of 6 Frenchmen ranked in the top 40 of the ATP World Tour rankings, now at a career high, number 35 in the world, and he is representing himself very well today, just staying in toe-to-toe with Andy Murray, actually benefiting most. Even though they have split the first 100 points, he is a set in front here inside Arthur Ashe Stadium against the man who triumphed on this very stage 3 years ago in his first major title. Mannarino has kept Murray disheveled from the start. And even though Murray had a chance to get the opening frame into a tiebreak, love 40 against Mannarino's serve was not to be.
Murray's not sure whether he wants to yell, laugh, cry, break a racket. He's had all those emotions, it seems, going through his head each game, each point.
Yeah, just sort of a lull in the entire match. And for a guy who plays with emotion and sort of feeds on adversarial conditions and likes a challenge, and just none of the typical responses we're used to seeing from Andy. And you're right, he's running through the full gamut, isn't he?
Yeah. Within a second of each other, he'll be laughing, smiling at his box, and then start throwing some colorful language their way.
All of this intriguing, of course, because of the fact that it was 6-3, 6-3 on a surface somewhat similar to this. Outdoor California desert, Indian Wells, round of 16. Murray handling Mannarino pretty routinely, despite what he called an unorthodox opponent. He thought the chance to take away some notes and figure out, all right, I've got Mannarino. I know what he likes to do. I know how to exploit his weaknesses. That's not been the case. It's Mannarino who's had the upper hand. And he benefits mightily for 2-all. Well, don't forget to go to usopen.org. You can see the picture galleries that are presented there. There's video highlights from the days before, as well as looking at the draw and live scores. You can tune into US Open Radio. There's nothing you can't do when it concerns the US Open. Just dial up usopen.org and enjoy the final major of the year.
Safe, please. Thank you. Thank you, lady. Please. Love 15.
Doesn't seem like the mics are quite as sensitive here as they were in Canada when they picked up Nick Kyrgios's comments. Because Murray has kept a running dialogue, and I'd like to catch a little bit more of it than I've heard.
I'm not sure you do.
Well,
in reading lips, I know
yes,
that
you're right. Yes and no. I'd like to, if there's anything constructive weaved within some of those words.
Yes. Yeah, I know the censors would be at the ready, and they'd have to delete sort of obscure
Every
a lot
other
of
word.
the words. But yeah, there is obviously some occasionally indicating to himself, you need to be moving more this way. Maybe talking about cutting off the angles on the serve. There would be intriguing to know if he's recognizing.
Or telling you that he's feeling badly, that the heat's getting to him, that something else is up, because he's making quite a few unforced errors for a Murray match at this point. And the only thing really that's bailed him out is serve. And he's having a poor service game at the moment. So second serve again at love 30, he's in trouble.
Overall, for the numbers and the day that had been plaguing him, 7 of 19 on his second serve for Murray. He's upped the percentage to 50% in this set alone, but it's still not good enough. And there's the first serve that can be potent enough to keep him within touching distance of Mannarino.
But if you had asked me before the match, which one of these guys needs to serve well, get a good percentage to have any chance, I wouldn't have said it was Murray, okay? Yeah, and right. That's been the case right now.
Thank you, guys. Please.
Nope. When the second serve isn't working, it deserves to be punished, at least in Mannarino's eyes. That's exactly what he does with the 81-mile-per-hour offering. I mean, just a shuffle step to his right. Blasts his 19th winner through the court. 10 of them coming from the forehand side. And a break point for 3-2. Feels a little bit better. 124 miles per hour out wide, 9th ace, but again, responsible for 17 winners.
Yeah, he actually has pressure, Murray, to get that serve in. He misses that serve. That was a clutch serve, because misses that first serve, and history in this match, he's lost serve. He's down 7 a break.
Putting in the corners of the service box on successive serves. Mannarino doesn't agree. I'll have to live with it. Flush on the line. Oh, that'll go right at Murray. And that's is one of those cases where you almost think, all right, so that's the play to make, but you might have woken up the bear.
We'll see. That might have. I can understand why Murray got hit, because he's looking for down the line. It looked like down the line was open. That just adds insult to this entire day to this point for Murray.
Getting tagged. You're a point away from 3-2 after extricating yourself out of a hole.
If you remember, he said it's embarrassing in the first set with a drop shot. That's a little more embarrassing.
Maybe it left its mark.
first double fault of the match.
Yeah.
Another break chance for Mannarino, and Murray with, you get the sense he's got to win the point with this server. He's going to lose this service game.
Right back to the same spot that got him out of the previous break point situation. Going into the corner, out wide. That'll be a third try for 3-2 for the Frenchman. Going back to the same spot.
I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say. That's been the serve that seems to catch Mannarino leaning the wrong way.
Oh, this one takes the racket right out of his hand. Well, he certainly changed the direction from the two previous break points. And back to deuce.
Remember this game if Murray's able to turn this match around from here, because boatload of break points, and Murray made all big first serves to get himself out of trouble. Still isn't out of this game, obviously.
Monster right back to the spot where he saved 2 break points. He would have been in a whole lot of trouble had he been broken, but he manages the hold. As Adrian Mannarino starting to cause some grumbling around the grounds here in Flushing Meadows. He's got Andy Murray behind by a set. Was very close to taking the upper hand 3-2. Had 3 chances to break in order to do so, but could not come up with the goods. Some good serving when he was under duress for the British number 1. Well, one of 6 Frenchmen into the second round. Mannarino trying to protect his 1-set lead. In doing so, trying to become the giant killer. So far in the men's draw, 4-seed Kei Nishikori, highest victim to fall, and that was on the opening day to another Frenchman, Benoit Paire.
Boy, oh boy, you'd think after Murray escaped in his last service game, points to his head there after missing that backhand return, and now giggling again. See, he's angry. It's all a joke. There's the emotions running all over the place for Murray.
Buys himself just a bit of time as he takes the long walk back to return. No challenge. The influence of Jonas Bjorkman, is there any way to pinpoint what it is that he has offered instead of Amelie Mauresmo?
Well, I mean, one thing he has done, I think, has gotten him, you're not seeing it in this match necessarily, but he has gotten him to be more aggressive with second serve returns.
A couple of errors from Murray, and it's an easy hold for Mannarino. No problems to get to 3-all.
That shocks me.
Yeah.
That was the time for the match to turn if you're Murray. That's the time when you've got a guy ranked lower, has won one time against a top 10er, to be disappointed with not having converted his break chances in the last game and maybe play a loose game. Murray didn't allow it. He said, I'm not going to let you get uptight. I'm going to miss first.
Murray, quarterfinalist last year, comes into the 2015 U.S. Open on actually a far more significant positive step. He was ranked 9th last year when he arrived in New York. Was 3-9 versus top 20 opponents and hadn't reached a final all year. This year, he's risen his ranking up to number 3 in the world. 18-7 versus the top 20 this season, reaching 6 finals and winning 4 titles. So there's a lot to indicate he was ready for a real big, strong, positive push into week 2.
What's funny is, this is strange. What's funny is Nadal's this is Murray.
Yeah, they've switched
Nadal
places,
this year,
haven't
yes, is what Murray was last year. Exactly, almost. It sounds like he can't beat the top 10.
And not that we're not taking into consideration, of course, that Nadal, who was a 2013 champion, actually didn't arrive to defend his title last year. But yeah, there seemed to be a little reversal of fortune for the two. And Murray finds his easiest hold of the day. Does so at love, pushes himself back in front in set 2. It's been a bit of an odd 90 minutes as we've gone through this second round encounter between Mannarino and Murray. I'm almost starting to think, Jimmy, maybe a little conspiracy theory here. The Mannarino must have had a watch in the locker room before they came out and just go, Andy, you're getting sleepy. You're going to play right into my hands.
He's hypnotized the entire stadium.
Yeah, he really has.
He's got some powers.
You're going to have a terrible performance on your second serve. Yeah. Hypnotic in some form or another, just lulling Murray into unforced errors and a poor performance. And for the Frenchman, that plays right into his hands. If he's to have success and find a way to victory in this match, he's going to have to continue to just keep Murray off balance, frustrate him. He's really become a nuisance. We're talking about a guy who until this year had never posted a win versus a top 10 opponent, and he has only one in his career.
Well, and Stan Wawrinka, the top 10er. Whoa, this is important to get to that ball. What an effort from the lady, and stolen away by the youngster.
Those whippersnappers, these youngsters just scurrying. No respect for their elders anymore, Jimmy. Been that kind of afternoon for Mannarino and Murray. Murray finally decides to charge.
Mannarino's lost 4 points on his serve in this set. I mean, he's kind of killing Murray right now.
Cameraman takes a shot. I'm okay.
What I was going to say before that youngster stole the ball from the lady was, was it the one top 10 win for Mannarino was Stan Wawrinka, who when he's on is one of the best players in the world, obviously. He's won a couple of Grand Slams, but he's susceptible to playing badly. Yeah. Mannarino's the kind of guy that maybe can make you play badly. We're seeing that today. So.
Sure, it happened in Miami. That one victory over a top 10 opponent in 14 previous encounters. was the second round back in March. It's a bit of a fold here, though, as he takes this one out of the air on the fly to the back wall behind Murray and says, excuse me, but you understand his frustration. 40 love, now deuce.
You understand his frustration, but that could have caused some problems.
Yeah,
Murray could have gotten tagged. The linesman had to get, I mean, you got to be careful. You better hit that type of shot in anger out of the stadium or into the net. Two doubles in a row. As soon as I mentioned that he'd only lost 4 points on his serve in the entire set, he loses 4 straight points. First little bit of a hiccup meltdown type of thing for Mannarino. This is Murray's chance now. Erased.
Murray will just take the gamble. He's already moved over to receive
Yeah, no,
serve
he
on
looked,
the other side, but
he almost said to him it was in by a foot. But it wasn't in by a foot. Murray 1 for 8 on break points. That, by the way, is one of the reasons why lefties have a little bit of an edge, because break points are played in the ad court, and that's where the lefty does have sort of the serve that causes problems, as you can see.
well, he picks up his second and third double faults of the match to get himself behind, but then he picks up aces 2 and 3 to put himself to 4 all. Yeah, that's an important point to make about the fact that where Murray is usually pretty proficient, almost exemplary, is on breakpoint conversions and being able to handle things, but dealing with right-handers far more often. The lefty advantage just gives Mannarino that little bit extra chance.
Mr. Murray's turn.
That might have been a huge missed opportunity for Murray to even the tally here. Not being able to convert breakpoint and serve for the set.
I mean, in Murray's defense, he did get aced. Pretty good serve on the break point.
Love 15.
Murray's reviewing all kinds of shots that are hitting the line.
Love 13.
Routine backhands down the line. Those are missing the mark. Murray now with 20 unforced errors on the day, splitting them evenly between the sets right now. And Mother Judy now perhaps a little more cause for concern.
Thank you.
Wow. Is that the indication Andy perhaps feels as if he's choking here?
I don't know, maybe. This was... There's great control Mannarino has on that backhand. He can hold it. You saw it there. He just waited and waited and waited because he had such a small backswing. It's tough to get in on him and attack him that way. Feels as though barring a choke right now for Mannarino, Murray's going to be down 2 sets to love.
Agreed. acquiescing in game number 9 at Love. It's Mannarino who will step to the line. Oh, the enviable position of serving for a 2-set lead in New York. Now, there's been a lot of agitation today for Andy Murray, and it's all coming off the racket of Adrian Mannarino. One, he got tagged back in game number 5 as he stood at the net. That one caught him on the left shoulder, unable to avoid it. There was another ball that Mannarino hit in frustration that traveled the length of the court, hit the back wall. Discourse between Murray and Carlos Bernardes in the chair about whether or not Mannarino would be told, hey, that's unacceptable, don't do it again. That's where Murray's focus was, sitting down. Now, well, he's in danger of falling behind 2-0. And Mannarino is looking as if he firmly believes that he is the man to beat in this match.
I got to give him one thing. He is somewhat confident for a guy whose career record is 73 and 101.
But it's been a dramatic change. He's a lot more effective in 2015 than he had been previously.
He is.
Winning a third of those matches.
But I've talked to him before, and he was pretty sure that he's an excellent player. He's proving it today.
He looks effective, and now he can do no wrong. Just as his level of play and his position starts to rise, so does his confidence.
And what a strange thing for Murray to be focused on, whether or not Mannarino got a warning.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
A game and a half ago.
That was the...
I mean...
The shocker is that he's not focused on the task at hand, but he was more worried about whether Bernardes was going to reprimand him. And here it is for Mannarino. He's been on a tear of late, trying to put together 10 consecutive points on serve.
Crowd sort of wants to help Murray out, and he's not even allowing them to get involved, making some early errors in these rallies. And not only that, Mannarino, give him credit, hitting some great shots.
Second set, Mannarino.
Mannarino looking to become the giant killer of the 2015 U.S. Open on day 4. Already the 4 seed gone and the 3 seed in a ton of trouble in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Now there were whispers, and then there was just a little teetering back and forth around the grounds of the Billie Jean King National Tennis Center, here home of the USTA. And, hey, did you see the score over on Ashe? The opening set went to Adrian Mannarino. Andy Murray had a chance to try to serve out if he could have converted 1 of 3 break points in set number 2. Couldn't. Mannarino with a couple of aces holds him at bay. And all of a sudden, everyone's talking loudly. What's going on inside Arthur Ashe Stadium? Well, I'll tell you exactly. The 3 seed Andy Murray serving to start set number 3, down 2-0. Oh, and it was sitting there for Mannarino, who's going to try to protect this 2-set lead just with the style of play that got him in the
15
position he currently enjoys. Murray himself will be trying to do something he's done 7 times previously, and that is come back from 2-0 down. The last time he did so was in 2003 in the quarterfinals of Wimbledon against a left-hander from Spain, Fernando Verdasco.
2013.
2013, 2 years ago, pardon me. Wimbledon last 8.
A little different there in that that's at Wimbledon, crowd going ballistic for Murray. Murray
he enjoys the support there. They would lift him if he wasn't feeling it.
Exactly. But he has done it 6 other times besides that. So, I mean, it's something he's done throughout his career from time to time, obviously.
And that's exactly the statement Andy Murray not only wanted but needed to make. And he skips his way to the chair before he switches ends and trying to just completely change his demeanor and the tone of this match, which has been one-sided to this point. Mannarino, meanwhile, not a wealth of experience at majors. He doesn't have a tremendous lot of experience to draw on, but he does have the fact that 90% of the time that he has held a 2-set-to-none lead, he's won 9 out of 10 matches. The lone loss coming this year at the Australian Open in the second round to Feliciano Lopez when he had to retire in the 4th set. Other than that, this is a spot where he has enjoyed victory when he's had this sort of lead.
I mean, it doesn't happen often you come back from 2 sets to love. Murray's won 538 career matches, and only 7 of them were from love 2 down. So, I mean, it's rare in both directions. Having said that, you still feel as though Murray's even money just because you can't believe Murray's going to lose to Mannarino. But, I mean, he's being beaten comprehensively through the first 2 sets.
And he's able to come up with a shot like that, knowing full well that he has to protect this lead. That's not a shot that has been uncommon today from the Frenchman.
Now he's sort of pushing Murray around with his court positioning, his touch, his variety. All those things are causing problems for Murray. It's strange how we're so accustomed to these big name couple of guys winning. It's a second double fault of the set. He's only played 3 points on his serve. And it's almost as if you don't believe they're going to lose. Even when you're watching this match, you think he should lose, Murray, the way he played.
Well, I'm certain a lot of people are probably thinking all that talking, those smiles. Murray's basically just been waiting to issue himself a challenge. Of course, he's going to mount the comeback now. But I'm not sure Mannarino's
trying to say, yeah, let's let you get this started, the comeback started with 2 doubles and a missed forehand.
Well, it isn't easy to think that you have to protect this lead. This isn't a position that Mannarino is accustomed to. 2 sets to none aside, this is against the world number 3. Guy who's won this very tournament and a couple of majors. And Murray's ineffectiveness when facing break point continues. Now just 1 of 9 today.
Get the sense he's got to, almost has to win this game now, or the discouragement will be too great. I mean, here's a break point again, but this in the ad court, tougher for Murray here. He hasn't really had an answer for that serve.
That's proved to be very difficult when in that spot, and so far for Murray, yeah, he hasn't been able to come up with an answer. And that benefits Mannarino, who we already have mentioned that he's at an all-time high as far as confidence when stepping on the court. Wishing to prove those opening 2 sets weren't a fluke. Well, Mother Judy Murray has left for the moment. She wants to give Andy a little time to work things out on his own. Wife Kim, though, and Coach Bjorkman still in tow. And the miss, a little too casual, and Murray starting to fire himself up. And he'll need that spark. And the crowd doesn't want to see their 3 seed go away in straight sets.
You know what? Early rounds in Montreal, a couple of times Murray started yelling out things like, find some motivation. And that's what it doesn't seem as though he was motivated coming into this match. Feet were slow. He's getting a little bit, he's trying to pump himself up. He's tried so many different things. He's laughed at his box. He's said swear words at his box. We tried something positive with a let's go.
That was the first real outward display of emotion that we've seen
That
from
seemed
Murray.
real.
Yeah. Even the previous ones were just subdued, not really explosive.
Mannarino sort of showed that he wasn't sure that he should win this match the way he played that last game.
Yeah.
2 doubles, he's up 2 sets to love. Did a great job serving out the second set, however. That was where I thought it might show up, and it didn't.
I couldn't agree more. You might have been almost peeking over my notes as I wrote down, keep an eye on this game 3 as maybe a turning point for Murray to really show that he's engaged, but Mannarino's starting to have a little bit of doubt. Yeah, a little bit of that push and that approach, and a couple times when he stepped forward, it hasn't been authoritative. Marc Jaquel, former tour pro, working with Mannarino, obviously crucial to the idea of coming out, sort of trying that lull tactic. Just a couple of push before an injection of pace, keeping Murray off balance through the opening 2 sets.
Mannarino talking to himself for the first time, almost as if to say, this is not that hard. His second serve is lousy. Keep attacking it.
Why have I not won every one of his second serve points?
He's won most.
He has won the vast majority.
New balls, please.
Murray, terrific start to the third as he takes all 3 games to begin.
Mannarino leads by 2 sets to none.
It's just a single break of serve. That's the only difference in set number 3, but it's pretty big and important moment for Adrian Mannarino, trying to hold on to a 2-set-to-none lead. You've seen a dip in his play. He's decided to change his kit and maybe change his motivation. He cannot get complacent here, and he knows this. Murray off to a 3-love start. Mannarino has held his composure for the majority of this match already as it approaches the 2-hour mark. As far as momentum and how this match may unfold from this point on, this is a pretty important service game for the Frenchman. Oh, well, a little bit maybe of a reminder. Murray willing to concede the point a bit as he goes right at the body of Mannarino, who tagged Andy back in the second set in game number 5. Went straight at the body, and all Murray could do was turn and take it in the back.
Go to 15.
He's just been creeping over, and you mentioned it earlier, in order to take away the advantage of that lefty serve, you're going to have to go with a little more angle.
He's got to go forward, cut it off a little before he gets so far out of the court. Having said that, I don't know if he went forward enough, but he just came up with brilliance from that position. I don't like his chances of coming up with that shot over and over again. However, it's still a good serve for Mannarino.
Yeah, he's moving so fast left. It actually was more lateral than in at an angle, but he did come up with the goods.
At least Murray has a little energy here in some of his shots, and that was an example. He wasn't quite so flat-footed as he missed the forehand. Seemed to have more intensity. That play is bringing back horrible memories from 35 years ago of playing Jimmy Connors. That was his serve.
Your flashbacks,
slow, but wide, really wide in the ad court. And it was, you're in trouble. You're running for sure. The next shot, you were going big distances.
Perhaps with the wrong size shirt, so Mannarino changes
the strangest. I've never seen a change of shirt in between game changeovers.
USOpen.org is where you can get souvenirs, the concession stands of sorts online. If you want anything shirt-wise, wristbands, towels, it's all available. USOpen.org. Yeah, Mannarino changing that. Well, it went from XXL down to XL.
Maybe with the new balls, he changes shirts. Most players change rackets. Mannarino goes with shirts.
15.
Starting to pick up the pace, and Murray serving it far more effectively, in particular his second serves already in this set, Jimmy. He's only lost 1 point on serve. He has had to go to the second 8 times. Has only lost that 1 point. Makes it 8 of 9. He has his second hold.
I think you've officially jinxed him from being able to win this second serve point.
Apparently I did. The second hold of love I was alluding to, and that won't be happening here. Should have given the stats for Murray fans a little bit later. But he's still in a good position.
That's pretty good stuff, really, from both players. A little cat and mouse going on, and Mannarino's a guy that I think excels at that. Murray is pretty good normally at cat and mouse, but I think Mannarino might have a little edge.
Again, just a slow roller.
And what's funny is Murray makes those type of shots often. They just haven't quite found the court like they normally do. Third game point here, but his last one before going to deuce if he doesn't go with his big serve out wide. That's the one he tends to go for.
Left first service.
Mannarino goes for a bit too much on the return, really trying to punish Murray's second offering after we had mentioned Andy only lost 1 point in the second serve, lost 3 in a row. And he may just escape with this hold. And he's desperate for a first serve.
He's due for a first serve. He's 25% first serve percentage in this set.
When he finds the first serve in the set, he wins the point. And that's exactly what he does in game 5.
Murray leads by 4 games to 1 third set. Mannarino leads by 2 sets.
A 4-1 lead for the world number 3, who is trying to come back from 2 sets down for the 8th time in his career. The 4 lads from Dublin, Ireland. Familiar with them?
What, you two you're talking about?
There you go. So you can't stump Jimmy Arias.
15-all.
Did an 8-night stand here in New York City back in July at Madison Square Garden. Perhaps the DJ here at Arthur Ashe Stadium trying to give Murray a bit of a boost. Mannarino wants to shut that down. But he has come undone a bit. He's seeming a little more error prone and realizing his position and what's at stake. A dozen errors in this set already, and he only committed 25 in the opening 2.
Serve has left him a little bit. I guess when he dropped serve in his first service game in this set, he hit 2 doubles in that game. But he's almost taking a break this set, it feels like, once he got down that break.
for the third time today, Murray breaks Mannarino, and he's had an abundance of chances, but the lefty's been able to hold him off. But this set has belonged to Andy Murray from the start, and here's his chance to slam the door. So dramatic shift and turnaround, and as you said, Mannarino maybe even perhaps just taking a bit off, realizing this set there was a momentum shift and starting to focus, lay down some markers for set number 4. He hasn't seemed to put forth the same effort.
Sometimes it's not, I mean, you know, obviously Nadal would argue this point because he never gives a point. But sometimes you can make some sort of momentum swings if you throw away the last part of the set. Just got to recognize that you better start the next set
From the line.
really playing well.
And also you'd like not that he's not wanting to put forth the effort here, but it would be beneficial to try to get things going on your own serve.
Yes, which exactly. So this game, if I'm Mannarino here down 5-1, I might hit 4 drop shots in this game. Make Murray run a little bit and don't spend too much energy myself. With the knowledge that I'm going to start the next set really intense, try to up that level back, put a little doubt back in Murray's mind.
Firmly engaged. Murray hasn't lost a point on his first serve in this set. 4 points in total. Quickest set of the match thus far, as just over a half hour Murray arrives with triple set point. And Murray's bid for the comeback. He's chipped away at 1 set. Now all is left is another to even things up in Ash.
Mannarino leads by 2 sets to 1.
This is a very important game for Mannarino. I know that he's up 2 sets to 1, but he's got to get out to a better start here and let a little scoreboard pressure get to Murray. Murray doesn't have any room for slip-ups any longer.
And that's got to be a little bit troubling for the Frenchman already, because there's a couple of shots that Andy Murray was missing where the errors start to come. The shots down the line, both the forehand and backhand, now starting to find their mark.
No question he's cleaned up his game. Now some of that goes towards Mannarino not playing as well in the 3rd set. Having said that, that last couple of points, Murray is hitting the ball well.
Well constructed, and the type of point that Andy Murray had been unable to finish because somehow Mannarino would disrupt him, and Murray had the difficulty. Things have certainly pivoted.
Yeah, this is more than a pivot. This is a stark turnaround in a hurry.
An abrupt about face. But it's almost as if Murray's going to say, some conspiracy theorists are going to go, all right, Andy just put it out there to say, all right, here it is. Here's your little moment. You take the carrot and psych. Pull it right back. I've got you where you want it. But this is a dangerous game to play if you're believing in that.
That's a ridiculous game to play, and there's no way Murray did that. He just something was going on the first 2 sets. Didn't have energy. He's engaged now.
I wouldn't dare suggest that Andy would even think about doing something like that. But you know, a couple people out there who just kind of feel as if he plays a little cat and mouse game a little too much. Well, this is just a change in his whole demeanor. Everything about him, from that disheveled look early, from the muted sort of grumblings. He wasn't as cranky as he usually is. At least that gets him out of his negative mindset a time or two. This is a difference, but credit to Mannarino now here up against it for finding a way to get himself out of trouble for a moment.
This last series of love 40 not breaking serve and dealing with these drop shots and touch shots from Mannarino may have brought Murray right back to his psychosis that we saw early in the match where everything was bothering him.
Well, immediately after the out call, which was delayed because it seemed as if the line judge couldn't have a good sight. Oh, and then it was overruled. So called out by the line, overruled by the chair, and it'll be Mannarino who challenges.
It was destined for a chase review.
Well done by Carlos Bernardes.
That's why it was destined for a chase review. She knew that it was tight.
Close. Yeah.
It took her a little while to make that call.
And immediately Andy had called out for the challenge. Bernardes spoke up from the chair. Oh no. Yeah. The 2012 champion says, remember that?
There was none of this in the first 2 sets, was there? He would have let that go. I'm a little surprised how badly Mannarino hit that 3rd drop volley.
Thank you.
But great running for Murray.
Remarkable, and sending a message not only to the crowd that, okay, come on, you love your former champions. How about me? To get to break point and tell Mannarino, don't think you're going through this set quickly. We're going to be here a while.
Good effort for Mannarino there to let that point go. Murray suddenly walking as if he's about 45 years older than he actually is.
Thank you.
Well, that ball was only going one place. And the net cord prevented it from getting through cleanly. And Mannarino knew it. Duck and cover. But a little net cord doesn't hinder Murray's advancement towards another break point.
Murray's trying his best to get revenge for the shot to the back that he took earlier in the match.
Don't disagree there.
He's been known to, I remember at Wimbledon a few years ago, he got Tsonga.
A little more sure of himself at the net this time, Mannarino.
Body blows. These are body blows that Murray's taken early in the 4th set. All this running.
But it shows how important it is. Psychologically, Murray knows it.
This
Trying
first
to get
game,
the upper hand.
no question.
Adrian Mannarino.
Asking for quiet. And Mannarino survives. An epic tussle in the opening game of set number 4, and the Frenchman somehow, some way, pulls off the hold. And Murray will feel just a little bit worse for wear after all the ground he had to cover trying to get himself the opening game.
That's being somewhat kind to the way Murray's going to feel. That was rough on Murray in a lot of ways. He knew he wanted to keep the momentum going. That's the kind of game that stops the momentum dead in its tracks. On top of that, physically, he's not feeling great. At another level of he's telling his box who's cheering for him to pipe down. He doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah, he was in not too, you were doing it the demure way. Well, it's one-way traffic in the dialogue, but there's obviously something going on back and forth between Murray and his camp, as he missed out on 5 break points in game number 1. Everybody's different, of course. I'm just curious from your experience. Did you spend a lot of time having that sort of conversation, the one-way traffic back and forth with your box?
Zero.
Would you even look over?
No.
I find that interesting psychologically, that if you're having a tough day, to look for support over there and then actually start to berate the people who are there to support you. Not quite sure I get it, but as we said, everybody's different. Knowing you the way I do, I would almost think that you would not want to make eye contact with the people who are there if you're having a tough day.
No, it's more of when I was playing, I was problem solving myself in my head while I'm playing the match. I'm trying to think, what do I need to do? This isn't working. What do I do now? I didn't really need anyone in my box to sort of show me they're cheering for me. Yeah, I know. You're supposed to cheer for me. I mean, you have no choice,
that's
really.
why I got you those tickets.
Yeah.
Well, the response after running the equivalent of a half marathon in New York City on the previous game, Murray was able to get on the board to love.
That was a little surprising. That to me looked like Mannarino, who's shown no signs of being tired. He played a tired game there. Murray might be doing the old Murray possum. I can barely walk. I'm about to die. I'm going to be able to do this for 3 more hours, but I can barely get the foot in front of the other.
Are you suggesting he has a flair for the dramatic?
I mean, occasionally I don't quite buy it. And Mannarino's trying to do the opposite. He's not showing anything, but he showed a little sign there that maybe he's getting tired. Just the way he played that game.
He's tried to take the energy out of this match, but it's almost a moment where Mannarino actually has to try to inject some in. Give himself a boost.
That was a leg sapping point.
Love 13.
Thought Murray was going to drop shot that very next ball. He waited an extra shot.
Another aspect of Murray's game that has come to the forefront positively as he redirects this backhand return down the line. That's a shot he missed more often than not, which found him falling behind so dramatically. And you see the abundance of opportunities had to try to break Mannarino's serve.
They've both broken 3 times.
Counts evenly. One with 11 more chances and make it 4 times now for Murray. And wow, Mannarino just goes away in game 3. That gives Murray the upper hand. Out in front, 2-1.
2 sets to 1.
Adverse conditions early with the humidity high today on this 4th day of coverage from the 2015 US Open. It seemed to hinder Murray through the opening 2 sets. Didn't seem to have his bearings or his legs underneath him. Things have come around better. In the next couple of days, we expect the humidity to drop, the temperatures to remain warm, but certainly not as taxing at the toughest test in tennis. Now the gauntlet has been thrown down to Murray by Adrian Mannarino, a 2-set-to-none deficit. Half of that is gone. Now Murray up a break. And looking to make his move towards forcing a deciding 5th set.
15.
Murray looking to run away with set number 4, much as he did in the previous frame. And he's got the upper hand once again. One of the things you said earlier, Jimmy, about the fact that we expect these top-tier players who have had a stranglehold on the majors and the Masters 1000 events, that they're just going to cruise into week 2. That's part of the thing that's so confounding about the opening 2 sets. I mean, especially in Murray's case this year, looking to start in Australia, getting to the last day before he lost to Djokovic, semifinalist at both Roland Garros and Wimbledon, losing again to Djokovic and then Roger Federer, respectively. Is there any takeaway that another opponent, perhaps down the road, let's say Murray accomplishes the comeback? Just wide for 30 all.
Only that you better keep going. You better keep the pedal to the ground if you get one of these guys down the way Mannarino did. He just played a horrible first service game of the 3rd set. And for whatever reason, Murray woke up once he got the lead. And it's been tough now for Mannarino to fight that momentum.
Mannarino seems to be trying to avoid a couple of different signals. It almost looked like he was going to go down for a moment, rest on his knees. And so I better think, oh, you know, my hands are pretty slippery. And there's a couple of things that just seem to indicate that Adrian's starting to be the one who feels a bit disheveled. Doesn't like the way things have transpired over the last 10, 11 games. You can understand why. And Murray does increase his lead to 3-1. Halfway to putting us to a 5th set in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Stay connected to the US Open on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Let us know where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. Feel free to ask us any questions you may have. We might just read your post on air. You can join the conversation by going to @usopen.org and using the hashtag USOpenWorld. Guess the big question of the day, if you're watching, wherever it is you are around the globe, what do you think about a 5th set?
I mean, whether it's going to happen or who will win it.
Both. Why not?
I mean,
you want to chime in?
We've been wrong about all the momentum swings that we thought were going in Murray's favor. But it feels as though there's, I mean, how can it not go 5 at this stage? That's the feeling you have.
A lot of those predictions were coming early in the match.
They were coming early, and any minute now, oh, here's a little comeback Murray made. That should start him going. No, it didn't.
Took an hour and 45 minutes before set number 3 started for that to start to occur. In a double down, it's safe to say you feel Mannarino's 2-1 lead as far as sets is a bit tenuous at best.
Yeah. I mean, you would make Murray a heavy favorite to win the match, even though he's down 2 sets to 1 at this point. But as I said, we've been wrong virtually all day.
Murray challenges the call of out.
Wishful thinking.
Mr. Murray has 2 challenges.
And his objection overruled.
Sit, please.
Good little hold from Mannarino, and he does his part to stay within touch of Murray in set number 4, holding out hope of getting through in 4 sets in the second round. Adrian Mannarino trying to be nonchalant, just act as if, hey, this is where I expected to be at this juncture in the match. Up 2 sets to 1. Just gonna put forth my effort, give the number 3 player in the world some fits. But inside, he's got to be just a touch nervous as Murray has certainly settled down and shored up his game. The enigmatic style of Mannarino just seemed to confound Murray a bit and cause him some troubles, and it was obvious that physically Murray was a bit off kilter. But Mannarino did exactly what he set out to do, and that's disrupt the flow, not allow Murray to develop any sort of rhythm, and that resulted in a 2-set-to-none lead. There's Murray marching right back, looking to force a fifth. Hoping to take his 10th game out of the last 13.
Well, the domination that Mannarino had in the first 2 sets on second serve points that's been flipped. The last 2 sets, Murray's doing a great job with second serve. Takes a little pressure off his first serve. A very comfortable love hold again for Murray.
Yeah, and in the last 2 sets combined, he has only lost 1 point on his first serve and 6 on his second. So that is an area where there's been a vast improvement for the British #1. Still a few hours left of daylight as the sun heads towards the west. Just about to hit straight up 6 p.m. local time in New York City. 2 hours and 46 minutes since this match first began.
Love 15.
Sure, if Mannarino's hit that serve as quite as well, quite as often, but that serve that you just saw, 95 mile an hour, sometimes less, but that wide has really caused problems.
And 30-15 as we come back to that side. Where is the best opportunity for placing that serve to get the best jump out wide? Is it to put it deep in the service box, or give yourself a little angle shorter?
You want short in the service box, and then just to mix things up, pop it deep down the tee.
And it helps that the positioning where Mannarino stands at the line is a little bit wider from the center mark.
Gives you more angle, certainly. And all of a sudden, this last game for Murray feels as though he's got his break lead in this set, and he's trying to almost conserve. Just serve it out.
Mannarino closes to within a game once more. The way Murray has been serving, though, yeah, you believe he's pushing towards that 5th set, but there's still 2 games to grab. Day 4 of the U.S. Open. Good evening from Flushing Meadows as we have hit 3 minutes past 6 o'clock local time. Andy Murray in control of set number 4, at least for the moment. The way he has been serving, a break has given him the lead, and he has been almost untouchable by Adrian Mannarino in the last 2 sets from the line, including having lost only 3 points in total on his serve in this set.
$15 long.
The level for Mannarino has dropped a little bit in the last. Murray's gotten better, no question about that, but Mannarino's starting to make a lot of unforced errors. And that was just incredibly lazy feet from Mannarino, standing straight up. I mean, there's no, let's get the legs down, get a good base. get a good wide base, an athletic base. He just stood there and rolled it into the tape. These two have such a different approach. Mannarino's trying to show you that he's not tired, but his play says he is. Murray's trying to show you, feel bad for me, I'm exhausted. But his play is fine.
Yeah, once he's into the point, but
Yeah.
then afterwards he has that sort of.
I can't take one more step. Till the point starts.
Sometimes it's almost like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, just sort of hunched over. He's seeking so much sympathy, and yet then he powers through service games one after another. And Mannarino dumps the return in the net, and Murray continues to dazzle in the better part of this two-set run as he seeks a fifth set. 17 of 20 from the line for a 5-3 lead. Notice Bjorkman and Murray's camp imploring Andy to stay resolute and determined. Let's get to a fifth set. Finish your business. I've not seen a lot of that from Murray today, but it's a good tactic here.
It's what he's done so well in the last couple of tournaments is attack second serve. This is an eminently attackable second serve. Still have to come up with a pretty good volley.
You'd have to believe that there's a little more assertiveness from Murray in this game, understandable. Set on the line potentially here. More authoritative with his positioning right along or inside the baseline.
He's gotten 2 second serves. He's attacked them pretty well, and Mannarino's feet are, for the moment, they're gone again. Does that mean he's resting this game?
And Mannarino not helping his cause. His 53rd unforced error puts Murray to set point.
It's a somewhat aggressive second serve for Mannarino. It's just about his fastest serve of the day. And it was the second serve, so tells you what he thinks about the rest of this set. I mean, if he happens to make every shot, he will find a way to hold.
Second serve.
And Mannarino gifts the game with his 6th double fault.
6 games to 3.
One set will decide who moves through. Mannarino no longer protecting his lead. He's trying to prolong his stay in New York City.
Final set.
And so it goes. 1 set to decide who moves on to the 3rd round and whether or not 3-seed Andy Murray is able to accomplish for the 8th time in his career a comeback from 2 sets down. He earns the honor of serving first in the decider in Arthur Ashe Stadium. Champion in Montreal, having a fine season, 4 titles on 3 different surfaces in 2015, seeking his 58th match win of the year. Looking to win his 24th consecutive match against players from France and majors. So much on the line for Murray and so much seeming to tilt this match in his favor, and yet Adrian Mannarino was able to come out with a game plan that just seemed to throw off Murray early. completely out of sorts in many ways. Even in the pre-match interview, Jimmy, Murray seemed just a bit subdued, like as if he wasn't 100% either fit or engaged. Something seemed off.
And it seemed as though the heat was bothering him early in the match as well. Ice towel, he's wiping his face on it. But it, not sure what's going on with Mannarino. He looks like there's nothing wrong with him, except that his movement's gotten a lot worse.
Well, you made the analogy early in the last set about Murray taking body blows and absorbing a lot of punishment. And when you do that as the opposition and you try to get at someone and wear them down, you also can wear yourself down in the process.
No question, but Mannarino's game does look like it conserves energy pretty well. He doesn't put a bunch of torque on his ground strokes. You see some players, they're low. Nadal, for instance, how does he play for 5 hours? Because every shot of his is...
It's a full body shot.
Yes. Mannarino just sort of massages the ball around, so you can see how you would think he would be able to handle a long match.
Murray finds his way to the early hole. Mannarino really on shaky ground here, and already the complexion of the match has pivoted in Murray's direction, but this once again comes down to a crucial moment, not only for the set, but ultimately in the match. Mannarino can't find a way to inject some energy into his game, which you're right. He almost goes about things just sort of lackadaisical. We said it early, that it looked as if he was almost extending the warm-up, just going through some random hit. You said it, massaged the ball back in play. He should have plenty left in the reserve tanks.
Doesn't look as though he does.
No.
However. So.
And it doesn't look like mentally he's as resolute as he was early when he believed striking the ball so well to get himself to a lead that he could hold on. But Murray's in turn worn him down.
Well, if he doesn't win this match, at least he can say a couple of things. One, I had Andy Murray 2 sets to love, and I tagged him right in the back.
Small victories. Yeah, Murray's been trying to get his revenge a few times.
And he never got me back. But watch this. Serve. Good return. No question about it. But not such a hard chase for that shot from Mannarino. If there was energy for Mannarino, you'd think he would be using it all early in this fifth. Trying to get a little scoreboard pressure on Murray, but there's nothing left. It's too bad, really. Mannarino, I would have liked to have seen Mannarino at his best, playing the way he played the first couple of sets, maybe after taking set 3 and 4 off. Murray's going to have to improve his break point converted percentage. I mean, it's looking better now, but a lot of that is Mannarino's helping him out.
And Murray able to get his 6th break, but you're absolutely right. When you get as many looks as Andy has had, he's only converting 20% of his break opportunities, but it's enough.
Well, but not only that, it's Mannarino's helping him.
Yeah.
Murray's not having to do anything to get the break.
Double faulting on set point, one example.
And now first ball error just now.
Yeah, body language seeming to indicate that it's just grip and rip time, that he's almost willing not to concede the match, but that he's resigned to the fact that Murray's in steamroll mode.
Well, Murray doesn't look as though he's about to keel over any longer. He doesn't have to go with that ploy.
Tactically, what's been the biggest shift over the last 2+ sets that's really turned things around in Murray's favor?
It actually hasn't been tactical. It has been energy related. So Murray upped his energy, especially that one point where he ran all over the place, got the crowd involved.
Yep.
Tried to get the crowd on their feet, and Mannarino's gone the other direction.
I think we said it at the end of that 5K effort from Andy Murray on that point alone, that he was sending a message to Mannarino, you better be in it for the long haul. And the Frenchman hasn't stood up since. He has been on shaky ground, and Murray in total control of the fifth. This fifth set has turned out to be a one-way affair.
Long.
That's frustrating when you go for a long run and you just make a silly error missing it wide. You got to put that ball in play. You've made the effort. Well, Murray's showing signs that maybe he is a little bit tired because he's given this game away.
Yeah, but perhaps so confident on his serve. I'm not saying that he's capitulating, but at the same time, the better part of these last 2 sets and 2 service games, he's been on a tremendous roll, and maybe just a touch of energy being saved as Mannarino had to hold. It was crucial that he gets himself on the board, and he accomplishes his goal. If you want to see the schedule for day 5, Friday, September 4th, go to usopen.org, click under schedule. It'll be unfolding right before your very eyes online at usopen.org, your source for all information pertaining to the US Open.
Love 15.
Now, the motivation coming from within. It's playtime's over, according to Andy. Very discouraged with himself.
Mr. Mannarino stands the call at the right center line. The ball was caught in.
Now this one, I'm speechless. Flabbergasted. What is that challenge?
First stance, 15.
Maybe he thought he was standing in the deuce court.
Always looking for the silver lining. Jimmy, Mr. Positive Arias. That was a head scratcher indeed.
See, this is it. Murray sent his level down in the last return game. Played 4 bad points. Let Mannarino hold it live. That's why you hear Murray yelling at himself. Come on, he was trying to get himself back pumped up again. Mannarino, love 15. Yeah, he got ace, but next point is second serve. He's got to juice it up here right now. Murray's a little bit vulnerable right now because he's played a mentally loose game. He's letting you know that. Mannarino shows something positive here. That was better. That was a good effort for Mannarino. Murray just had the answers.
Ball 15.
Good defensive lob from Murray in the middle of that rally.
And using the acute angle to put Mannarino on the run. Continues on still. Has only lost 2 points on serve in this set. 1 each on his first and second. They've gotten an earful today.
New balls, please.
Andy Murray 2 games from accomplishing a 2-set-to-none comeback for the 8th time in his career.
Final sets.
Looked like an upset in the making after 2 sets, and for Adrian Mannarino, the biggest victory of his career was within his grasp. All he needed was 1 more set to take down Andy Murray, champion of this event in 2012. 7 top 20 victories for the Frenchman over the course of his career, the biggest already coming in 2015. Having taken down Stan Wawrinka in Miami in the 3rd round. Prior to that this year, his biggest victory was against the 15th-ranked Roberto Bautista Agut in Auckland, where he would go on to reach his first ever ATP World Tour final.
15.
But once you get to that 2-sets-to-none lead, then managing it, finding a way to get to victory, that proves to be an even more difficult endeavor.
He at least, Mannarino, needed to play with whatever he had. To start the 3rd. Murray's got a long mountain to climb there, 2 sets to love down. He wasn't feeling physically fantastic at that stage. But Mannarino threw what he's 2 doubles, missed a forehand, threw away his first service game. And that immediately sent the message to Murray, okay, I'll win this set. We'll see what happens. And then you're back into it. You can't let a top guy like that sort of have a second life.
Particularly against a guy who seems to relish the challenge of trying to find a way to outmaneuver opponents, draw out the rallies, find a way to exact a little bit of extra effort. Murray looking to get himself to a virtual match point. And Mannarino is able to avoid it, at least for the moment.
14.
Well, he's not out of trouble yet. 35,528, the announced attendance on this 4th day of the US Open. And the vast majority of them trying to figure out a way. Hey, I'm out here on these courts, but I hear Murray's in trouble inside Ash. How do I get in there? Yep. Murray fans can breathe a sigh of relief. As we said, virtual match point for Andy Murray, the way he's been serving the last 3 sets. And he drops the hammer on a second offering from Mannarino to get to 5-1. Now, throughout the match, Murray talking to his box, colorful language at times, smiles, just a total gamut of emotions. And a couple of times we could read his lips and see him saying, "This is ridiculous.
This is embarrassing," one time.
He can end the pain. The turnaround complete, and now he serves to capture his 8th comeback from a 2-set deficit and move himself into the round of 32. And the resignation on the body language of Mannarino. Up next for Murray, if he captures the next 3 points, another lefty. Thomas Bellucci waits in the wings for the winner of this match.
15 all. So it's a 15.
Three hours and 17 minutes in. From 2 sets down, Murray with match point. And he finishes with the ultimate exclamation point and sends Adrian Mannarino packing.
6-1, 6-3, 6-1.
Andy Murray victorious, and he moves on to the 3rd round to face Tomás Bellucci from Brazil.